year?
It feels amazing. It feels amazing, and the sun's even out, so it's a good sign, man.
Steph was just saying how special it is to have a connection to the We Believe team back here.
It's special for me to have a connection to this team. I think that We Believe team kind of started something, and obviously this team came and picked it up and took it to the ultimate level. So for myself to have a chance to come back and compete with these guys and hopefully help them get another one is a dream come true.
Matt, I know you talked about it a little bit, but take me through, when the Kings make the decision they made, how does that hit you? Where does it leave you when you look at the landscape of the league? And then when the phone rings and this becomes a possibility, it's a hell of a roller coaster.
Once they were so adamant of not trading DeMarcus, and then once they traded him, obviously my mindset is they're starting over. And also my mind says I'm too old to start over, So, Vlade and I kind of had that understanding. The next day we spoke, and it was a mutual, hey, I understand it's a business, and I want to win, and he understood that. So, from there, guys start calling me. KD called me, Draymond called me, talked to James Harden and Trevor Ariza, DeAndre and Chris Paul. San Antonio called, the Cavs called, so it was just kind of a waiting game. Guys were on 10 days, trading deadline was coming up, so it was just kind of a waiting game. So, I just stayed ready, was working out in LA, hanging out with my kids, and, I got a call when I was at their practice that, it was a possibility, and then Coach Kirk called me about 10 o'clock that night, and, I was on a plane to Chicago the next day.
You've talked about the humility aspect of being part of this. But at this stage of your career, considering all the ups and downs, to have the phone blow up like that with those kinds of names, what was that like?
I think that's what I kind of hang my hat on is, I've kind of always, I've obviously had a well-traveled career, and there's been a lot of downs and some ups. But I think to have the respect of the guys I play against, the guys I compete against, and who are obviously some of the best guys in the game, to have those guys want me as a part of their team, I think kind of says a lot for me, and it's kind of where I kind of know that, hey, at least I've done a pretty good job at some point.
Did you think seriously about any other spot?
No, I wanted to. This was really number one, obviously, to me. Clippers would have been nice to be close to my kids, but, coming here was number one. And Katie and I talked last summer about both coming here, so it didn't work out for me early. They didn't really have money, but to have a chance to come back here, this was obviously my number one choice.
Matt, this organization has put a big emphasis on character and players who don't get into any kind of off-the-court trouble. Did you guys have a conversation about that? Do you think there was trepidation about some of your history?
I couldn't speak on what they thought, but I think there's enough guys here. Willie Green I played with, a couple other guys I played with that vouched for me, knowing that I have gotten in some trouble off the court, but most of the time it's a reputation type trouble where, I'm a target and I realize that. And like I said, I know coming here with what they have going on, I want to come in and fit in. I don't want to come in and stand out. I want to do, a small part of hopefully something big and helping this team get another ring. So, off the court, you don't have to worry about with me.
So many guys have said how they appreciate Steve Kerr. He knows what you guys need because he did it for so many years. What would have been your first observations?
It's a process here, and I think they understand that. You know what I mean? It's a marathon. Sometimes with a team like this, at this caliber, the season kind of gets a little boredom sets in. So you got to keep it fresh. You got to keep it energized. But this is a great group of guys that have obviously already won a championship. Steve Kerr's won several championships. So, like I said, to understand the process and realize that there's a time to turn it on and time to just relax and catch your body is always big.
Some of your teammates from 07, well, one at least, have weighed in on who would win between that group and this group. Where do you stand in that debate?
It's tough, man. That was a junkyard dog type team. Really physical, scrappy team. And this team, we didn't have the shooting this team has. You know what I mean? And it still kind of feels awkward for me to say we as a part of this team because I really don't feel like I've contributed yet. But I am a part of the team. But I don't know. That's just, I guess, something that people always have to debate. But I think it's a tremendous experience to get to play for both. So.
You enjoy the fact that those guys seem to be living vicariously through you a little bit right now?
It was big. Like I said, Steven Jackson felt like say he was coming back. Baron Davis told me, hey, get me back in the organization. I'm like, man, I just got here.
You need to stop getting love on social media. Just give me a call.
Yeah, he was texting me, he was Snapchatting me, like, get me back in. I'm like, man, I just got here, man. I don't have no pull. But like I said, to be a part of that special group, and then to come back 10 years later. And like I said, obviously the organization has changed, the players have changed, but to get a chance to be with this group of guys as well is going to be amazing.
Matt, in Sacramento, you were kind of the voice of reason. You were, kind of calming Boogie down at times. Is it kind of easier when you're coming in a situation like this where you don't have that much of a mental strain to have to try to?
It's just something that I've learned to do. I've been through so much, and I've played with a lot of amazing players, and I've been a troubled player in the past. Someone that very passionate, but sometimes that passion is misread. And I've got a chance to play with DeMarcus, and he's similar. Draymond and I have been bonding like the last 3 years. He's been trying to get me here, and I see a lot of myself, my younger self in him. It's just his passion and playing on the edge. And I think it's a thin line between playing on the edge and going over. And I think that edge is what keeps our competitiveness and makes us who we are. So, like you said, this team has got everything they need. I just hope they fit in and help win.
You want to bring some edge? Is that one of your roles?
Absolutely. I think I'm definitely still going to be me. I'm an older player, and I know my role. So wherever coach plugs me in at, no matter if it's 12th man or 6th man or starting sometimes, wherever it's needed, I'll be there. Yesterday was crazy. I landed, and then I had to go back and get some clothes. So I was going to take the train, and then I put that on Instagram, and like 8 people hit me up, and like one of my friends came to the train station and grabbed me and took me to Sac. I stayed the night there, got some clothes, and then I drove back this morning.
Somebody you regularly see, or just?
No, I hadn't seen him in a while. I used to play summer league with him in San Francisco, and I was at the chicken and waffle spot in Jack London Square. He's like, "Hey man, I'm going to Sacramento in 15 minutes. Like, come grab me," and it worked out that way.
You want to give that guy a shout out? Or?
I'm giving him tickets tonight.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's a good trade-off.
Okay.
Yeah. Ready to give him tickets.
Speaking of tonight, how excited are you?
Oh man, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to take a nap right now. My sister's hitting me, and my dad lives out here now, and everyone's just so excited for me to be back here, and the love I've got, because once you leave and then I play for the Clippers, which is kind of an arch rival here, the dislike comes quickly. But I've received a lot of support, and I'm excited, hopefully anticipating a warm welcome, which I'm sure it will be. But just to be back here, like I said, and hopefully help get a ring.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Nice to